Click Nettie's again. Oh, there we go.
All right.
Hey guys, we are live.
Hey.
Welcome to Vino and Amore.
Yes.
And oh my God, Nettie.
We're finally here.
The time is finally
We're finally here.
The time is finally
This has
here.
been in the making for a while.
A really, really long time.
Yeah.
I am Tara Stidham of She Dates Savvy, your online dating guru, and also the author of Smart Girls Don't Date Dumb, because hello, we don't want to date dumb now, do we? And
no.
And Nettie, go ahead and tell the people who you are.
So I'm Nettie Jones, psychotherapist and also radio talk show host. Hey, Jad. Oh, hey, girl.
You got people online.
I got people online.
I'm having technical difficulties, I think, on my end. But keep going, Nettie, because we'll do it and we'll share it from yours. So we are here. We are live. And for those on Instagram, we are coming to you. But we are more of those people who keep you inspired, knowledgeable with all that information. We are not tech savvy at all.
No.
So we are.
How?
Look, we know our lane, so we are working on things as we speak. So, Nettie, you go ahead and tell the ladies what Vino and Amore is, and I'm going to work on my connection.
Okay. I want to say hey to Chastity. Hey, Janice. Thanks for tuning in. So, Vino and Amore, wine and love. What goes better than with wine than a conversation with the girlfriends? And so love is what we all want. So Tara and I have partnered together to talk about love and those things that we women want most. So anyway, we're going to get started, and please, questions, comments, please share. So one of the things that we talked about, we wanted to make sure that we included on this video, was talking about healing from past relationships, because I think that a lot of us go into relationships with old hurts, old wounds that have not healed, primarily because we just kind of keep moving. We don't focus on them. We don't take time to say, hey, listen, what's going on with me? And so we want to take time today to just talk about, how do you know if you're walking around with some old hurts and some old wounds? Well, I think if you start asking yourself, like, this feels familiar, this seems familiar, right? So these are the kind of things that are red flags to let us know that, I was talking about
the past
hurts.
Absolutely.
If you find yourself saying that this person reminds you of something that happened in a previous relationship. So always referring back to a previous relationship. Yes. And you and I have talked before.
Absolutely.
You've got to base that person on their merits.
Absolutely.
And you can't bring old stuff into new relationships.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times, Nettie, ladies don't even realize they're doing it. So for me, I recently had a conversation with a client, and this poor guy, he worked in a certain industry. She was already upset about that. She's like, well, I don't date, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
So I told her, I said, well, what does that have to do with him? Like,
right.
Let him live. Let the man live. Like, he's not doing anything to you. He's not doing anything wrong. Sorry, guys. He's not doing anything. He's not doing anything wrong. He wants to be in this thing with you. So she pushed past that. Then the next thing you know, there was another issue, and I said, you know what? It's really not fair what you're doing. You have some unresolved issues, and you are absolutely dumping them on him.
Yeah.
I said, this poor guy doesn't even know he's behind the 8 ball. Like, he has no clue where he is. And so I made a post on Facebook and on social media, and I just said, it's time to get over. You got to push past those hurts, and you can't keep blaming the next guy for something someone else did to you. I talked about my 100% rule. I give everybody 100.
I like that.
If you end up with a 39 when it's all said and done,
you earned it.
It's on you.
It is
absolutely on you. But I give you a 100 to start with, and she wasn't doing that. And so I made the post, and I said, ladies, if you're ready to heal past the hurt, because I have a workbook in my book. So many ladies reached out. So many. And I'm like, Nettie, it's time. It's time to have these frank conversations with our girlfriends.
And our wives.
Hello.
Cheers,
and that's what we are.
Love.
Cheers to love. Cheers to love. Cheers to healing.
And healing. Absolutely.
That is really, really, really important. So
You
Let's
know,
tell
one
them
of the
what we're
things,
talking about.
I think too, getting back to how do you identify if you need to heal, and I believe it's self-healing.
It is, because it's all about you.
Yeah, when you have self-doubt, when you're insecure, when you feel you're not good enough, and these are usually based on previous relationships. And so that's the kind of thing that resurfaces, and you go into other relationships, and it is problematic.
Yeah.
It's problematic, and then you look at the other person, but really it's about you.
It's
About you. So you got to do the self-work. So,
it is all you. So when we talk about the self-work, because obviously everybody knows, okay, like, yes, I'm hurt, yes, I'm carrying this around. So what are some things that they can do to start moving past that? Because I think that's why a lot of ladies get stuck. They know they're hurt, and they know that they need to move on and do the work, but a lot of them don't. And a lot of times that hurt manifests itself in extra pounds, low self-esteem, really bad relationships.
Yeah.
You know, so those are some of the signs where you know that you're still holding on to some stuff. But if we start talking about unpacking it and kind of like we think back to what's her name? Erykah Badu, Bag Lady. Like if we want to get into that suitcase and really start unpacking it, what are some of the things that the ladies can do?
Well, I tell you what, you said Bag Lady. It reminds me, I tell ladies all the time, first of all, we're carrying other people's shit.
Ooh, yes we are.
So a lot of things,
Nettie,
if you're going to carry some baggage,
Yep.
let it be yours.
Your own.
But if you're carrying Leroy's and Bubba's, it weighs you down, right? And so you have to decide, you know, is this about me? Is this, you know, something that I need to do? I need to change. And so being self-reflective and being able to make some intentional changes to say, I no longer want to continue to be in the space that I'm in. And so we're responsible, ladies, for healing ourselves. It doesn't matter what someone says or what somebody does. Ultimately, Tara, we're responsible for doing that. And, you know, it's unfortunate if somebody says or does something and then you are affected by it and you're hurt and you're disappointed. And so once you get past feeling hurt, disappointed, angry, all of those emotions, then you have to say, okay, now it's time for me to heal myself.
And I love that. Also, let's talk about these apologies, because so many people are walking around waiting to heal, but they can't until somebody apologizes to them. Please talk to me from a psychotherapist standpoint about that, because I think so many of us really are walking around wanting those apologies and wanting people to say, I'm sorry, and I'm not going to heal until he or she realizes how they did me wrong.
Right. Well,
talk to me about that, because I want people to get free from that today.
You know, not just in intimate relationships, but even in with you know, with parents. There are people still waiting for their parents to say, I'm sorry, you know, and the bottom line is, I find that once that person says, I'm sorry, it doesn't change anything. It doesn't change what happened, because you can't go back and change that. And all it is an apology. But you have to decide that you're ready to move past whatever it is. And so what I hear too is, I want that person to apologize, and I also want closure. See, girlfriend, you are responsible for. Well, closure.
Is this really? Because some people are like, "There's no such thing as closure."
Yeah, there is.
And so, what is closure, Nettie?
You're intentional about saying, "I'm going to wrap this up, put a bow on it, and put it on the shelf." Closure is something you do, not somebody else. Because I know something you know.
That's good.
How can somebody close me? How can somebody wrap up my experience and what's been going on, and I have to do that. So closure is something that you create. Hey, sister-in-law. Hey, Candace. Thanks for joining in. So,
Hey, guys. And I know mine seems like it's going in and out, but if you're there, I see you guys. Hey, mine. See you. I saw Virginia. I saw Kathy. I saw Maryland. Hey, guys. I am so sorry because my connection, for whatever reason, is fading in and out. But I am here. Hey, Miranda. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so Nettie just said that closure is something that you have to do. Nobody can give you closure. Like, how can someone close you up? Because again, we're always like, I want to get closure, and I need him to give me closure. He can't give it to you. No. So even if he never apologizes for what he did wrong, that closure is up to you. That healing is your responsibility.
Yeah, and absolutely. And this is the deal. If he doesn't apologize, that's on him. You give
Yes.
it back to him. That's where he is. It has nothing to do with you. And that's the part I think we keep asking, what's wrong with me? You know, well, maybe I need to do that. What did I do wrong? Why is it he treats me that way? He's not treating you that way. He's just being who he is, and you're affected by it. So that's why we're responsible for saying, you know what, this is uncomfortable for me. Then that means you need to move and position yourself to a more comfortable place.
I love that.
You have to do that, ladies.
I love
If we're
that.
waiting on them, we'll be waiting.
And so many times we're afraid though. We don't want to be alone. We don't want to be single. We don't want to be that statistic. We don't want to be that person again. And it's like, but sometimes it's better for you to be alone and to let that mess go than it is for you to just stay on to something.
Well, you know what? Women say that all the time. I just don't want to be alone. And I'm thinking, you're always alone.
Yes, you're already alone. He's not
Words
the
matter
one.
so much. Words matter so much. But the bottom line is we're always alone. So what you want is somebody to come along with you. You want the companionship. That's what you want. You know, I think that is, and that's the deal. You want them to come along with you. We spend way too much time trying to go and get along with them. And so I share with my daughter all the time when we're talking about friendships. You have to say, do I want this person in my circle of friends? We women are always trying to figure out how we can become a part of them instead of trying to figure out, do we want them to be a part of where we are?
And it starts as young as that. It starts as young as those years where they learn about friendships, and obviously that translates into relationships. So it's very important that you are having that discussion with her right now.
Yeah.
So the next thing that we were going to talk about is, why do I keep picking the same guy? Why? Like Nettie, every guy I pick seems to be the same guy. He was just like the last one, and the one before him, and the three before them. Why do I keep picking the same guy? Nettie's gotta pick up her wine glass for this one because y'all, she's got some really, 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 really good to say about why you keep picking the wrong guy.
It's not the wrong guy. It's you're just doing the same thing. You know, you're coming from the same place. And so I always say,
hey Jackie,
I generally say that, you know, if you're not in a good place and space, you'll entertain people, places, and things that you would not normally entertain.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so
That's good. Yeah. That's deep. Okay, wait. Say that again.
If you're not in a good place, you'll entertain people, places, and things that you wouldn't normally if you were in a better place. And so ultimately, if we're healthy, of course, we recognize these red flags. We recognize dysfunction. We recognize unhealthy. And I share this with women all the time, married women and single. And they're in relationships. I say, now, you know, we do the self-work. You're going to look at your relationship differently. And so sometimes women walk away thinking, I don't know that I need to be in this relationship anymore. Because you're coming from a different place. You're coming from your lenses and how you view yourself, how you view your world is different, and how you how you view that relationship and that person.
And the things that kept you in that relationship before don't exist anymore.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. And it makes perfect sense because, again, when you go back and you look at those relationships before you did the work, you're like, oh my God, how did I even allow that into my life and into my space? So
getting back to why do I keep picking the same person? You know, if in fact you are not in a good, healthy place, if you're looking for somebody to make you feel better, if you're looking for somebody to make you feel worthy and valued, then you keep looking for that person. So it's the same kind of person. So you're not attracting him. You are attracted to you are attracted to him because you're looking for something for him to give you. So you are actually, it's you. It's not the guys.
That is really good. So ladies, Nettie just unpacked for you. You do not keep picking the same guys. You remain the same woman. And so if your patterns haven't changed, and you haven't actually done the work to not attract the cheater or not stay in a relationship with someone who's abusive, whether it's financially or emotionally or physically, it's you. It's you. You're the common denominator.
Right.
That blew my mind when she said
you know, when you say you attract the cheater, so say for instance you do. Say for instance this is somebody who cheats generally, you know, just not monogamous or whatever. And then you recognize that. Well, the deal is you can choose to leave. You don't have to stay in that relationship. But this is the deal. And that may change that cheater to say, you know what?
Yeah.
If I'm going to be with this person and I really like her,
yeah,
I got to make some changes over here. But you hold true to your standards. You got to have some, ladies. You got to set them down. I ask women, what is it that you highlight your heels? Oh my goodness. You got to write them down. You got to know what your truths are, ladies. You can't just, shoot from the hip. So what else are we talking about there?
Okay, wait, I love that. So you have to know your truth. So most women, Nettie, look, most women make a list of the things that they're looking for in a man instead of what they are as a woman. Y'all, that just gave me my life. Hold on. So we are so busy making a list of what we want in a man, but we've not really considered who we are as a woman.
Right. Yes, absolutely. And which do you think which is most important?
This is good. If y'all have any questions, be sure to send them to us. We will answer them. Thank you guys for being here.
Hey, Kathy.
Hey, Kathy.
Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Janae. And I know mine is doing something weird, but that's okay. If you guys keep dropping out on mine, you go to Nettie's, and we'll share it all later. So, Nettie, wait.
Yes.
So it's not just about me making a list about what I'm looking for in a man.
No.
Really? It's not just what I want in him.
No.
Oh.
No.
Do tell.
So this is the deal, ladies. While you're making a list of what you want in a man, but you know what? I tell you what, let's go where we are.
Okay.
I always say we got to start where we are.
Yes.
So say, for instance, ladies, you have this list that you've made for what you want in a man, right? Okay. Now,
who's got a list? If you have a list, you can chime in and say, I've got a list.
Okay, you got your list.
One.
Yeah, and if you don't, you can start writing one. But now, this is the next question. Do you have those things for yourself? Do you possess those things that you're looking for in him, in you?
Yes. Nettie, that boils down to what I say to my clients when I say, would you date you? Like, would you date you? Yeah. Like, are you carrying all those things? And I think sometimes we're very unrealistic in our expectations, and so it's very much so, he needs to be, and he needs to be, and he needs to be. But you're not any of those things.
Yeah. You know, we did a segment on the show, on the radio show.
What radio show is that, Nettie?
That's Amazing 102.5. It's the Girlfriend's Therapist, where we're living our life fabulously every day.
Hey, Tracy. That's Nettie. That's what she does.
So we did a segment on what men want, right? We did one on what men want, and then we did one on what women want. So it was real interesting. So I did my little research, and then we took a poll, a small sample of men. I think the age range was from 22 to about 63.
Oh, that's a good range.
And we were able to take some of the questions that we had and kind of funnel it into some research that was out there that we had compiled. And so there were 4 categories for men.
Okay.
One is men want women who enjoy themselves, like to have a good time, like to have fun.
You gotta have a life, right?
Yes. Men want women who are, y'all ready for this? Ladies, this is important. Emotionally mature. Okay?
So it matters to them.
Yeah. A healthy man. A healthy man.
I'm writing a note because I'm going to have her come back and tell you what a healthy man is.
Okay. And then third is a woman that's dependent. I mean, independent. Oh, God.
No.
A woman that's independent. And then a woman, the fourth one is a woman that he is immensely attracted to. Now, this is the deal. Most women, all women that I've asked that question to, want to be fun. They want to be emotionally mature. They want to be independent. And they want for their man to be immensely attracted to them. So, then we took the little small sample I had, and from the questions, we were able to connect the answers to all 4 of those categories. That's what men want. So then we did the same thing with women. Well, this is what women say they want. We want security. We want to feel like a queen. We want you to treat us as we're the priority. We want, so it's like men want us to come with something already there that we have, and women, we're like this.
We want them to build up and add to versus us already. Wow.
Men want you just to come correct.
Just come correct.
And we want you to come and build us up.
So do we sometimes overcomplicate things? Like, do we complicate?
Oh, we do.
Because it sounds like we just complicated it because he's like, oh, just be this, be this, be this, and that. And then we're like, oh, but I need this, this, and this, and then you need to make me feel as if I'm your queen.
Yeah, but what happens when he's no longer emotionally available to make you feel like a queen? Then what do you do? Right. But if you already feel that way,
you can't
only
into it
enhances
with that.
it. Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that.
He enhances it. And you know, I make a point to share with women when they say that this guy made me feel this way. This was the first guy that made me feel alive.
I hear that.
That made me feel. No. Don't get it twisted. You positioned yourself.
Hey, Reginald, I'm listening, Nettie.
And allowed yourself to experience and feel that. He didn't make you feel that way. You positioned yourself. You positioned yourself. Either you let down some walls that were up. You know, you allowed yourself to enjoy that person. You allowed yourself to enjoy yourself. You allowed yourself to grow. But that person didn't create that for you. It existed. You gave yourself permission to experience it.
That is so deep, because there are so many women out there who, again, like you said, they are like, oh yeah, he made me feel. There was only one guy. So it's in us, and we want to. So what's the disconnect? Like, is it that there are certain men that we will allow to take us there, or is it just?
I think it's
like,
just.
I think
it's our. It's just how we've been brought up. It's what we don't know. It's what we think relationships should be. It's and it puts everything on another person. But we're accountable and we're responsible. And you have to create all of these things for yourself. And if you create them for yourself, you meet someone that's created it for themselves, and you get together expecting absolutely nothing but to enjoy each other.
Okay. You said it's the way we were brought
I think
up.
it's our way we were brought up. You know, a man is supposed to do this. A man is, and so if he doesn't, then all of a sudden he doesn't love me. He doesn't care.
Right.
Well, okay. Everybody, that doesn't mean that.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that at all. But again, like you said, the way we've been reared, and even just I think the outside influences. Yes. You know, because my friend and my girlfriend's relationship looks like this, and so if mine doesn't look like that, then that means that it's not right. But what works for my household and what works for yours might be two very different things, but we can be immensely happy in our lives because we're allowing it to be what it's supposed to be for us. Love.
I tell married women all the time, you know, your marriage may not be where you want it to be, but it doesn't mean that you can't be happy. Because you're responsible for creating that happiness for yourself. So if
there's a woman out there, because again, this is for everyone. This is not just for single women or engaged or whatever. This is for everyone. So a woman who might be in a relationship right now who's saying, I don't know if he makes me happy.
Well, then you need to look at why you feel you're not happy, but ultimately you're responsible for creating the happiness and experience it for yourself. First of all, happiness is overrated. And I tell people all the time,
happiness is overrated. Oh my God, I'm supposed to be happy all the time. What do you mean, Nettie? What do you mean?
No. I tell people all the time, if you're happy all the time, it's because one or two reasons. You need to be on medication or you on something. Happiness is ebb and flow. It comes and goes. Happiness.
Wait.
No, if you're happy all the time, that's an indication that either, you know, something's going on, or, you know, you might be on something. Because happiness is something that we don't experience.
If you're happy all the time, for those of you who just came back in on my broadcast, hey guys, thank y'all for sticking around. I know it's kind of sticky over here, but Nettie just said that. So we're talking about like being in a relationship, saying, oh, like, but I don't know if he makes me happy. And she says that happiness is overrated. And if you're happy all the time, either
you're on something or you need to be on something.
I never heard that.
We call that mania.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the opposite of...
It can be, yes.
Yeah, okay, very good. Yeah, because again, this is...
So let's see, I've got a question here. Okay. Where do you start, step 1, 2, 3, in making your personal shift?
Ooh,
which might be where you come... let me see.
Where your conversation...
Okay, where your conversation...
Nettie,
Oh boy.
you flip the camera. Now
okay.
you know we're hold it
Oh, we're
back.
texting. Oh, what do I do?
You flip it back.
How do I do that?
And it should be in one of the corners.
Help!
Okay, let me see. Okay, so
Okay,
Nettie,
so
can
where do
see
you
the
start?
question?
So where do you start? 1, 2, 3. First of all, I think you sit down and you ask yourself, what is it that I want? I think that's the first thing. Is what is it that I want? And I ask women that often. And a lot of times people say, I just want peace. I just want to be happy. Thank you. I just want to be happy. And so I think it's important to sit down and write down what it is you want. And then ultimately, what is it you want? And then you say, what is it I need to do today so I start to move towards whatever that is that I want in my life. And, you know, write down the good, the bad, the ugly. Because we need to know our insecurities, our fears, our apprehensions, why we're confused. And then we decide which one we want to unpack, which one we want to start focusing on, which one we want to work on. And then, you know, therapists get a good therapist.
Yeah,
You know,
Nettie,
somewhere
okay,
where
wait, that
you
is...
can go and talk and process what you're thinking, what you're feeling.
That is,
You know,
that
and
is
we don't have the answers to your life. You do. But we create the space where you can chat and talk about what you've experienced, what you've been through, what you've done, what works, what doesn't work, what you're willing to do. Not what I say, hey, go do this.
Yeah.
What is it you're willing to do that's different?
I love that you brought up the therapy component, because I think that so many of us have not put that in our healing.
Yeah.
We've not included that in our healing box. And so sometimes, you know, we tend to say, well, I'm just going to pray about it, and there is something so cathartic about sitting down with somebody and talking it through. And not only, the great thing is, like, if you get the right one, you can't come up in there with your BS trying to BS somebody.
Right.
You get it?
Yeah.
And it's really going to hold you accountable for making those shifts. So if you say, I'm ready to shift, how do I start the conversation? What are the things I need to do? If you find the right person to talk to, they're going to challenge you in the right ways to actually get you where you need to be. So I think when we think about therapy, I think we need to get over that stigma around it, and it's needed, it's necessary. I got a therapist, I'm grateful for her. Listen, this is my girlfriend, and when time came, like, Nettie, I need somebody, she gave me a referral. And so I think that it's so important for us to not think that you don't have to do it by yourself.
No.
You don't have to do it alone.
No.
And so part of this conversation this morning is we're hitting on those notes that might resonate in your life, but the prayer is that hopefully you will say, you know what, I got some stuff I need to work on.
Yeah.
And I can't do it all by myself.
You know, I just think it's so amazing how many women, how we walk around. I say we, including myself, you know, we walk around really wanting somebody to just make it better.
Yeah.
And let me say this, even when you get the I'm sorries, you asked about that earlier, when you get the I'm sorry.
Because who's waiting for an apology?
Yeah.
If you're waiting for an apology, just say, still waiting.
Yeah.
I'm waiting, because most people are.
But when you get the apology, it doesn't change things.
No.
You say, oh, he apologized.
Right.
But does that heal? Is that a healing balm? No.
No.
Because you still feel the same way you felt before. And so you got an apology, check that box off. And now you're still stuck with the responsibility of going deep inside and healing. And this is the deal about healing. Once you start to unravel things and really get into it, you start to realize that a lot of stuff that you're carrying on isn't yours. That a lot of the things that you think you're hurt from, you go, wait a minute, I'm not really hurt because that wasn't even about me.
Yeah.
And so when you're able to give it back to him, because he was insecure, he was inconsiderate, he didn't honor his word, then you start to go, wait a minute, what did that have to do with?
Well, especially that it wasn't about me, because you said it at the beginning. Like, so many of us are carrying around everybody else's stuff. And we create these stories in our mind. We create all of these things, like the between the story and the backstory. And I mean, I do it myself. I'm aware enough that when it starts running, and I'm like, girl, that ain't even what it is. Like, why are you making this about you?
Yes.
You stop making it about you because
Yes.
it's not about you.
It's not.
9 times out of 10, it's not about you. And if you were ever able to get out of your head and talk to someone long enough, they would say, "Oh no, that wasn't it. Oh, really? That's what you thought?"
Yeah.
And you made up this whole thing in your mind about, "Oh my God, he did this because of that, and blah, blah, blah. And it's because I'm this, and it's because I'm not that."
Yeah. And that's called defining other people's actions.
That's a therapeutic term for it.
It's
So
defining somebody else's action. And who are you to define somebody else's actions? You're not them. You don't know why they do or say what they do.
Yeah.
But you, because you can't figure it out, then we just assume. And we create, and ladies, y'all know we can create some stories. And then when we're being told, that's crazy.
yeah, then we're like, "Well, he called me crazy
Yeah.
because you were being crazy.
That's crazy.
You made up some stuff."
So you where you come up with that? That's crazy. Oh, I'm crazy? Oh, no,
Like,
I'm
no, you're not
crazy.
crazy. You're just making up crazy stories, and nobody wants to hear that. Hey, Mimi, my phone is going in and out, so from time to time, I know you guys are leaving, but if you're there, I see you. We'll go back and respond to everything. Hey, Nicole. So, Nettie, let's talk about this because you just
I know
went to
people
it.
are thinking.
Nettie's trying to read the comments.
Yeah.
So, the last topic that we want to talk about is
Yes.
self-sabotage in relationships. So, we just mentioned the whole story, and I know you gave us a clinical term of it. Stop defining other people's actions. Right. So if I'm making up in my mind, all this stuff that's going on,
Yeah.
I could probably self-sabotage. So
Yes.
give me some examples of how we self-sabotage. Now I know how I self-sabotage when it comes to my diet and my eating.
Yes.
Because I might eat a cupcake.
Okay.
And that's not going to make the scale move right.
Right.
So that's a simple way that I can equate self-sabotage because I have a goal in mind, but then if I go out and I eat a cupcake or 10, which I never have eaten 10 cupcakes, but if I eat a lot, then that's not going to get me to a successful weigh-in, which is not going to get me to that end goal. So when we talk about ladies in relationships, and ladies, I use myself to make it super basic for everybody, right? So everybody, so you understand, because again, we're like, what did I do wrong? I'm just being me, because for me, what did I do wrong? I like cupcakes, but guess what? You can't have the cupcakes here because they're not where you are right now. So let's talk about self-sabotage in relationships.
That is a whole segment in its own self. You know.
And y'all know we'll be doing this again. So guess what? We might just do a whole self-sabotage.
Yes.
Vino and Amore, because we got more wine.
Cheers. So self-sabotaging, that is a good example. I'm just waiting for the next shoe to drop. That's a good one. Things always start off really good and then they go awry. Or, you do these little tests. They're your tests. The other person's not aware of your test. So, we do these tests. Like, if I do this, let me see how he responds.
Come on.
Yeah. And then if he doesn't respond the way you have created your key on your test, then he fails.
Nettie. Yeah. I met a lady a couple of months ago at an event, and she was like, I probably need to talk to you, because let me tell you, I don't trust anybody. And I'm like, well, why don't you trust anyone? And she's like, because let me tell you, because one time I got taken by this guy, and I said the next ones, I'm going to do this. I said, it's not that you don't trust them, you don't trust yourself.
There you go. There you go.
You don't trust yourself. So what's happening now is this man or these men who come your way, you doing this trust test, well, you're the one that need to take the test. So you need to take your own test.
So let me tell you about trust. What does trust have to do with it? What does trust have to do with anything? The only person, I tell women this all the time, the only person you need to trust is yourself. Trust that you make the right decisions in the situation that you're in, and you keep it moving. If you are deciding to be with somebody based on what you feel, what you know, trust yourself. And the whole thing about trusting people, how are you going to meet somebody and then feel like you're supposed to trust them? Trust is earned. It's something over a period of time. If somebody says they're going to do something and they follow through over a period of time, it's safe to say that,
but
they
most
honor
people
their word.
Immediately want to trust somebody. They immediately say, well, we're in a relationship, so I should be able to, I want to trust him. But you're saying you got to earn that.
Well, well, you know what? It's not even. People say that. Trust is something that is over a period of time where people show up as they say they will. They honor their word, and honestly, that's what it's called. It's called you honored your word. And so, if I say I'm going to do something and I don't do it, that's called a lie.
Yeah.
And so many people come in. And they're like, I've got trust issues. Okay, well, with yourself, do you trust yourself?
Right.
Who is it that? Okay, so
Who don't you trust?
Well, Nettie, that doesn't make sense. So I'm supposed to be in a relationship where I don't trust anybody? Well, what I'm saying is, well, are you trusting yourself that you're making a good decision to be in that relationship? Again, it goes back to self. But when you put it on somebody else, then that's like putting your eggs in somebody else's basket.
Yeah.
And then I tell people, when you have to look, so I'm just working on trusting again. How do you work on trusting somebody else?
So, Nettie, have we bought into all these like terms and phrases and stuff?
Yes.
Excuse me, almost.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, 'cause it sounds like we're just buying the shit. Like, they're like, oh, I'm working on trusting and learning that. You bought into a phrase and you don't even know what it really means, but you've now you've made that part of your life.
Yes. So, good example. Say, for instance, you're dating a guy and he says, oh, I'm not feeling well today. And then you go with your girlfriends to happy hour, and there he is at the bar. Okay, wow. Ooh. All right, so now it becomes...
That's a problem.
Well, it
could be.
Yeah, well, I can't trust him. Well, no, he just lied.
He's a liar, exactly.
Right, but this is what we do, ladies. Okay, so I can't trust you, and, I got trust issues. And then he says, see, you don't trust me? No, let's stick to the point. You said you were sick. You said you were staying home. You said you had diarrhea, and you're at the bar with the boys. He lied.
It's just a lie.
So then what do you do with that? Well, note to self, he lied. Now, after a while, trust has nothing to do with that.
Make it, stay with me. We make it, I got trust issues just because you got lied to.
You personalize it. That's that baggage. Taking somebody's stuff.
It's not your issue. He's a liar.
Yeah.
He's a liar. And you can't even say that you picked a liar, because depending on where you are in the situation, he just lied. He flat out lied for whatever reason.
He's lying.
But then you don't have trust issues. So ladies, stop putting
It's a
that
revelation.
on yourself.
It's a revelation.
Oh my God. I love this. Stop putting that on yourself. I've got trust issues.
Women say that all the time. And the deal is, you're just in situations or have been in relationships where people didn't honor their word. They didn't follow through. And that's not about you, it's about them. And so, but you walk around with their baggage.
So good, so good, so good, Nettie. So we didn't want to spend too much time.
No.
I finished my whole glass of wine, y'all, and if you know anything about me, you know I am pretty much a lightweight.
Well, if you know anything about me,
Nettie's like,
I'm not.
Pass me yours. So we thank you so much for joining us for Vino and Amore. Hey, Candy. Thank you so much for joining us. For those of you on the feeds who, for whatever reason, it dropped in and out, it recorded the entire thing, so we'll post it on, and we'll also post it on our Instagram channels.
Yes.
We thank you so much.
Hey, Kim Gagne.
Hey, Kim. Hey, girl. Hey, we're here. We've got our wine.
Hey, Craig Mar. Hey, Craig.
Oh my God.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to do this again.
What is Kim? Kim is tight.
What did she say? Kim, what are you
saying?
saying?
It went away, Kim. We'll have to go back and read the text. But we thank you guys so much. This is not the last time.
No.
We are going to be doing this some more. And we also, Nettie, we want to bring this to the people. We want to bring this to you. We want to sit down and talk and have these frank conversations with you.
I want to hear from the women. I want to hear what you're experiencing. I want to hear what your thoughts are. And you know what? Estrogen is something that I embrace. Especially when I'm lacking it. So the more women that come, women, when we get together, it is so electric. It is so powerful. And so we need to share and align ourselves and be in agreement to be better, to feel better, so we can love more.
So if you guys want to actually be in the room with us, I mean, maybe
I know, we're going to make this happen.
Maybe we can invite them just to come and sit at the table until we do something bigger with people, but we wanted to give you guys this space and just share this with you. We thank you so much for tuning in and being here with us. And it's 5 o'clock somewhere. So let's toast to love. And we will see you again on the next Vino and Amore. Cheers. Bye, ladies.
messing.